Hey everyone, and welcome to the video today, and in today's video I'm going to be giving a full spoiler review for the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie. I saw the film yesterday and would like to talk about the film entirely and how it sets up the third film, so if you haven't watched the second movie, the sequel to the original Sonic the Hedgehog film from 2020 yet, and don't want any spoilers, this is your warning right now. I'm going to start off with the story of the film and then talk about my pros and cons, followed by that infamous end credit scene as well. You guys, if you haven't seen the film, honestly go watch it and then stay for the end credit scene, it's so worth it. So, starting off with the story. The movie picks up right where the first film left off, with Sonic living with Tom, the police officer, and his wife and dog. However, the start of the film actually opens with Dr. Eggman / Robotnik being trapped on the Mushroom Planet, which is quite clearly meant to be Mushroom Hill Zone from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Dr. Eggman nearly escapes the planet on his own, but is then found by Knuckles, who wants to find and defeat Sonic, as he is the apprentice of Longclaw, the owl who sacrificed herself for Sonic in the first film. After this we see some hijinks with Sonic, who is left at home alone, as Tom and Maddie have gone to Hawaii for her sister Rachel's wedding. We then pick up right where the first film left off, with Tails from the post-credits scene from the first film. You can then see Tails picked up the energy signature from Sonic playing baseball from the first film. He then decided to then travel to our universe to warn Sonic about Knuckles, who is obviously hunting for him and out to kill him essentially. After Tails saves Sonic from almost getting obliterated by Knuckles and Eggman as they ambush Sonic at the house, Sonic then uses his ring patch and map from the first film, and after Tails gives Sonic a backstory of how the Owls and the Echidnas have been at war for centuries, fighting over the right to wield the Master Emerald. You see, in this movie's universe, the Master Emerald was created by the Echidnas, using the Chaos Emeralds to essentially form the Master Emerald. And in this universe, the Master Emerald works by causing whoever uses it to become ultra powerful and allows the wielder's desires to become real, making sure that they actually did show sort of an animatic of a Echidna warrior using the Master Emerald to completely wipe out an entire army by himself. Believing no one should wield this kind of power, this causes the Owls and the Echidnas to fight over it. The Owls eventually win and seal away the Emerald, hence leading to Longclaw essentially being the last of the owl race. I don't actually know the name of them, so I'm just going to say Owls for now. Being the last of the Owls to actually protect the Emerald. Sonic and Tails then look at the map and are greeted by a magic projection of sorts of Longclaw, telling them how to find the compass that leads to the Master Emerald. After learning this, Sonic and Tails then travel to Siberia as instructed by the map, and get into a fight in a random tavern. This then leads to one of my favourite scenes in the entire film, as the film makes you think a fight will break out in the tavern, but it's actually a Russian-esque dance battle, which really shows how cute Tails is and really develops the friendship of Sonic and Tails, because that's one thing I was afraid of going into the film, where I thought, oh, they're going to rush the friendship like they have in sort of modern Sonic games and sort of modern Sonic reboots, where they've just sort of rushed the friendship, because I feel like that's something that needed to be built up. And I think in this film, Sonic starts off by being very naive of Tails. He doesn't know who he is, but he accepts his help. Whereas then later on, when they get to Siberia, Tails is very... he opens up about the fact that he used to be bullied for having an extra tail, and he's very shy and things like that, but he's good at inventing. And then Sonic obviously tells him how good his inventions are, how smart he is, and then just like the dance battle breaks out where Sonic and Tails dance together, and it's just amazing. It's honestly I'd say second favourite scene in the entire film. It's really good. Sonic and Tails then find the compass, but are greeted by Eggman and Knuckles, who beat them there. Well, actually, Sonic and Tails beat them there, they do all the hard part, and then Eggman and Knuckles show up at the last minute to take the compass. This starts off with a snowboarding battle seen in the trailers, which is obviously a homage to levels like Ice Cap Zone, Snow Acropolis from Sonic 06, and other snowboarding ice levels like the one in Sonic Adventure 1. Here, Eggman steals the compass to find the Emerald, and one of Eggman's missiles then knocks out and hurts Tails, causing Sonic to flee on a snowboard, being chased by obviously Eggman and Knuckles, as well as an avalanche. As a last-ditch effort, Sonic FaceTimes Tom, saying that it's a life or death situation. He needs to use the spare ring he gave him to essentially travel back home from Hawaii at the wedding to save Sonic and Tails, which obviously then, because they're being chased by an avalanche, then ruins the wedding. During the wedding vows, the avalanche comes crashing through the ring, and obviously Rachel and Tom, who are already on bad terms, this was sort of established in the first film, obviously get into a confrontation because he's essentially just ruined her wedding. This also creates one of the quite funny lines in the film where it was just something that made me chuckle in the theatre, where she says, "Oh god, there's two of them now," obviously after seeing Tails as well. As Sonic and Tails come through the ring with the avalanche, it is revealed that the sisters' groom and all of the groomsmen, as well as some of the catering staff and the wedding staff in general, are actually GUN agents working for the military, put in place to watch over Sonic to make sure he isn't a threat. Now, so far in this film, we've had quite a lore-heavy film, which I really like. We've had Chaos Emeralds, the Master Emerald, the Echidnas, the Owls, but I really wasn't expecting Gun to show up here. If you don't know who Gun are, they're a special military task force by the US, primarily seen in Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic X, Sonic Heroes, and Sonic 06. Sonic and Tails are then captured by Gun, which means that it's now up to Tom's wife Maddie and her sister Rachel to save both Sonic, Tails, and Tom. They basically find a load of Tails gadgets, and they essentially break in to essentially Gun have taken over the Hawaii hotel. They essentially break into the hotel to rescue Tom, Tails, and Sonic. Maddie goes after those, whereas there's quite an amusing scene where Rachel basically goes full on Rambo, because obviously she's quite a fierce, stern woman, as you see in the first film. But essentially finding out that all of the groomsmen and the love of her life are actually gun agents. They never were there for anything else. They were there specifically for the mission. She basically goes absolutely just bonkers, and it's a scene which is very reminiscent, if you guys have watched Shrek the Third, where the princesses go to rescue the main characters. It kind of reminds me of that scene. I think it plays similar music as well, where essentially she's on like a golf cart, and she just breaks in, and then she holds the Commander General at gunpoint, and that whilst Maddie obviously then saves Sonic, Tails, and Tom. And it's just that was one of my other favourite scenes in the film as well. I'll go into that later in more detail though. They manage to save them, but with Tails still knocked out, Sonic decides he needs to be a hero and goes to face Eggman and Knuckles alone. We then get a brilliant scene of Sonic running across the ocean to get to the Emerald. This is sort of giving me Frozen 2 vibes. If you see that scene in Frozen where obviously Elsa goes to essentially walk across the ocean with ice, it was kind of like that, where Sonic goes to run across the ocean, where it goes from being sort of like a normal calm seafront to then just waves and a storm, and then Sonic manages to wash up on the beach. I was expecting to see Angel Island Zone where the Emerald was being held, but instead it's actually Labyrinth Zone from Sonic 1, complete with all sort of the background details, crystals, and the traps. After going through all the traps, Eggman and Knuckles make it to the Emerald, and then Sonic and Knuckles fight. They confront each other, they have a little argument about their past and about obviously Longclaw, but then Sonic ends up defeating Knuckles. But just as he's about to get the final blow in, he then tells Knuckles that Eggman is about to betray him, and then Eggman essentially just betrays Knuckles and takes the Emerald for himself. Sonic then saves Knuckles from drowning as he's trapped by a pillar. They then reconcile on the beach, and they are then picked up by Tails in his trademark biplane, which is obviously a nice Easter egg to the original Sonic 2 and other games in the series as well. Eggman and Agent Stone, and by the way, I haven't even mentioned their relationship, but I think that Eggman and Agent Stone have this amazing relationship. It sort of reminds me of Dr. Smithers, Smithers and Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. I don't know why I said Dr. Smithers, I apologise. Smithers and Burns from The Simpsons, it kind of reminds me, it gives me the same vibes as that. But anyway, Eggman and Agent Stone are then confronted by Gun and all of the agents, essentially showing up with tanks and armed vehicles to capture Eggman. But then Eggman shows up with the power of the Master Emerald. He becomes glowing green and has the ability to levitate and teleport. He then uses the Emerald power to essentially grant his own desires by breaking up surrounding buildings and trucks to make a giant Death Egg robot, which is very similar to the older Sonic games. Sonic, Tails and Knuckles then finally team up in sort of a Avengers style battle scene to then defeat the Death Egg robot, and they have this nice little exchange where they're all talking about how they have to create a plan to defeat the Death Egg robot, but they then quickly realise they are no match for it and it's too powerful to defeat. After talking during the battle, they then hatch a plan for Sonic to split up and distract Eggman, whilst Tails and Knuckles then also distract him inside of the robot to get the emerald. After Tom and Maddie then they basically steal a truck to save Sonic, the Master Emerald breaks up, revealing the Chaos Emeralds inside of it all along. Sonic then saves Tom and Maddie, allowing him to transform into Super Sonic by using the Chaos Emeralds. He then flies up, defeats the Death Egg robot. I get very much sort of most of the final bosses seen in the Sonic series, but I get very much the intro sort of cinematic scene of Sonic Unleashed vibes here, you know, where he defeats Eggman using the Chaos Emeralds and being Super Sonic. It was just a really nice scene. It put a smile on my face in the cinema, I'm not gonna lie. Afterwards, after defeating Eggman, he essentially falls to his death, and Sonic turns back to normal with the emeralds flying up and disappearing into the sky. Knuckles then repairs the Master Emerald, and all three of them make an unbreakable promise to then team up, become friends, and essentially make a new order inspired by the Echidnas and the Owls to essentially protect the Master Emerald, all three of them protecting the Master Emerald, staying together. The film then ends with all three of them playing baseball and Tom and Maddie all together just having a nice time, and it's just a really nice scene because obviously it plays off that really cute scene from the first film with Sonic playing baseball by himself. But we're not done there. Oh man, this next scene's brilliant. Basically, if you wait until after the credits, we get an after credits scene with a special gun agent and Commander Walters, who's essentially the Olive Garden guy from the first film. He shows up and then, you know, thanks Tom and Maddie, gives them the gift card. Basically, they're in the destroyed streets of Green Hills after the battle with the Death Egg robot. The female agent says to Commander Walters that Eggman has escaped and his body has not been found, meaning that they're now searching for Dr. Robotnik. But essentially getting into his base, they've recovered all of his files and plans, and within the files they have found some dating back 50 years. We are then treated to just an amazing scene showing Space Colony Ark and a cryopod rising up on the space station. It is then revealed that the life form inside the pod is indeed Shadow the Hedgehog, who then wakes up, his eyes glowing with sort of the same energy that Sonic, Knuckles and Tails have, with sort of the lightning-esque energy, then ending the film. So, on my thoughts about the film in general, I really just wanted to start off with this end credits scene. Just wow. I had a massive grin on my face here. It took me back to being a child, because obviously I've grown up with Sonic. I'm a huge Sonic fan, and I really wasn't expecting this. Luckily I didn't have this leaked for me like everyone else did, and it left me with a huge grin on my face leaving the cinema. First off, I think they've nailed Shadow's design, and I'm really excited for what they do with the third film. I really hope we get a movie that's sort of a adaptation of either Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure 2. I really hope they essentially just do Sonic Adventure 2 as a film, or a combination of sort of Adventure 1, Adventure 2, maybe Heroes as well, maybe a bit of Sonic 06. Mainly the Dreamcast era plots, that would be kind of nice to see. But if we do see Shadow in the next film, I really hope we also see Maria and that whole story, Rouge, Omega, and hopefully Amy as well, as I feel like I'm kind of hoping we do get a few more Easter eggs to other characters. I feel like you can't just have the entire, like, all of Sonic's friends, because that would be way too many characters to share the screen. But I'd love to see live action versions of all these characters. So, starting off with the pros and cons. What did I like about the film? Well, first off, I loved the animation. It was expressive, fluid, and really fun to watch, especially during the dance scenes, the opening scene where Sonic saves some people from bank robbers, and it was just the animation in general was really good. I thought it blended really well in the live action situations and obviously with the human characters as well. It was just really good. I thought they nailed the designs for Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik and Shadow. I thought they completely just nailed the whole thing, really. I was really happy as well that the gun agents also look like gun agents from, say, Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic 06. It was just really nice to see that they stayed extremely faithful to the source material whilst only tweaking it slightly. This also includes the Death Egg robot as well. I thought the Death Egg robot looked incredible. Obviously they changed the design a bit, but I just thought they did really well. As for the story, I really enjoyed it. I really liked the backstory they gave for the Emeralds and the Echidnas. Knuckles even got sort of a childhood backstory, like a flashback scene, which allowed him to bond with Sonic after being betrayed. You see, Knuckles' father was actually part of the tribe that attacked Longclaw at the start of the first Sonic film, and basically he says to Knuckles to stay at the village, you don't need to come with us, your destiny will come another day, leaving Knuckles to obviously then find out that his dad never came back, the entire tribe never came back. Whatever happened with Longclaw we don't know, and essentially it leaves Knuckles to go on a quest to find Sonic and avenge his father. Speaking of which, I think performances across the board were really excellent. Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik and Eggman, Idris Elba as Knuckles, and Colleen as Tails, all doing a fantastic job. Colleen also voices Tails. I think she's voiced Tails in every single Sonic game since Sonic Colors, which was a really nice touch to bring her back, and it's sort of that thing where the fans appreciate it, and as well she's a really good voice actress, so it was really nice to see her here. Ben Schwartz also does another brilliant job at portraying Sonic again. He sort of brings that cocky modern Sonic era, but he also has sort of the childlike wonder that Sonic has, that I think Sonic has in sort of the Saturday morning cartoons of old and things like that. Jim Carrey and Idris Elba really stole the show for me though, personally. Carrey was really funny, the way he plays Eggman brilliantly, and in this film he also has the sort of bald head, goggles, the iconic mustache that he grows up whilst being on the mushroom planet, and he's slightly fatter from eating the mushrooms, and he has like the big red coat and things like that. It was just amazing. As I stated before, I also really loved the sort of heavy Sonic lore from the games making an appearance in the movie. Personally, I preferred these moments over the moments in Hawaii with the human characters. I loved seeing Super Sonic, the Masked Emerald, Gun and Shadow, as I've said beforehand. This then brings me onto the cons of the film, what I really didn't like. I really did think the plot of the human characters, it sort of took up a lot of the film, especially at the wedding at Hawaii, and I felt that they should have spent more time with Sonic, Knuckles, Eggman and Tails, as I feel like those lore-heavy scenes, those scenes that are sort of homage to the Sonic universe in general, were brilliant. Or they could have just done more more scenes with Eggman and Knuckles' backstory. Maybe Agent Stone as well, I thought was a really good character in the film. Rachel and Maddie got way too much screen time on their little sort of adventure, bringing down the gun agents. Don't get me wrong, I actually quite liked that scene, but I think it went on for way too long. As I said, I really liked the scene where Rachel essentially goes on a bride's rampage at the hotel. That was really funny. I liked how they used Tails' gadgets as well, because it shows you how good at inventing things Tails is, but again, I think that went on for way too long. This next one's more of a nitpick than a con, but I really wished we had more Sonic music actually in the film, sort of either covers or theatrical edits of it. During the film we do have obviously theatrical covers of Green Hill Zone, which is reused from the first film, Angel Island Zone and Emerald Hill Zone, but it would have been cool to hear a version of either, say, the Death Egg boss music from Sonic 2 and Sonic 3, maybe the Doomsday music from Sonic 3 for the final fight. Don't get me wrong, that final fight in the film with the Death Egg robot was still amazing, but I feel like having that music would have made it even better. Another really missed opportunity, which I'll go over in the Easter egg section of this review, is essentially Sonic is drowning at one point, and they missed an opportunity to use the sort of Sonic drowning music, you know, when it counts down from 5, like it makes that panic induced music. I feel like they missed a massive opportunity to use that. And another tiny nitpick as well would be that there are definitely some jokes that either made me slightly cringe or that they were more intended for an extremely younger audience, because obviously I'm 23 now, so a lot of jokes like that I just don't find funny, like Eggman flossing and the Winter Soldier joke whilst they're snowboarding, and the really overabundance of the Olive Garden references. In the first film there was a couple of references to the Olive Garden, and I thought, okay, it's something that I don't really relate to because I don't think we have them in the UK, but obviously I understand the joke, I understand, it's one of those things where you get a slight little smirk out of me, you won't get a massive laugh. But in the movie they make way too many Olive Garden references. I think after the second time I was thinking, okay, this is cute, they've referenced the first film, but now they've gone on for way too long. But saying that, there were some genuinely funny lines, mainly from Jim Carrey and Idris Elba as Knuckles, with obviously Sonic getting a few really funny lines as well, and Agent Stone. There were some lines from Jim Carrey that genuinely made me laugh out loud in the cinema, so I was really happy about that, to be honest. Also, just before I end the video with my final verdict and review score, I would also like to go over a few Easter eggs in the film that I thought were really cool. So, starting off, during the dance battle scene in Siberia, Sonic does the Sonic Adventure box art pose, which is just brilliant. Obviously in the first film we got a couple of Smash Bros poses, so I was really shocked. I wasn't expecting them to use this pose, but it was really nice to see it anyway. During the final fight, Agent Stone is essentially in the Death Egg robot helping Robotnik fight Sonic, Tails and Knuckles, and they basically make a comment about, have you looked over a manual, do you know how to use this thing? And he then pulls out a manual after I think it's like shooting some missiles or something like that, and the manual for how to use the Death Egg robot is modelled after the old Genesis manuals, which I thought was a really nice touch. Another Easter egg, and it's a bit of a small one because it's throughout the entire film, Eggman sports his floating vehicle, like his egg pod, I don't actually know the name of it, which obviously more closely resembles his flying pod from the games, which I think was a nice touch. Obviously we have the Death Egg robot and Tails biplane as well, as discussed earlier as well. There were also the gun agents, who are obviously responsible for Project Shadow, which leads into the after credits scene, and hopefully we get to see stuff with Dr. Robotnik's grandfather, Maria, and everything that essentially happens in Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic Adventure 2. I think that would be some really nice touches there. In Green Hills also there's a cafe called the Mean Bean Cafe, which is obviously a reference to Robotnik's Mean Bean machine, and in the movie the cafe acts as Dr. Robotnik's base, where Agent Stone sort of operates, and they send out all the drones and things like that, and they have all the touch screens, and I just thought that was a really nice touch. They did not have to do that as an Easter egg, but I think I just thought it was a brilliant reference, to be honest. Also, during the fight with Knuckles near the beginning of the movie, Knuckles smashes through a water truck, which obviously is branded, it's named Splash Hill Water, and obviously which is a reference to the Sonic 4 level by the same name, which was also a nice touch. When Sonic and Tails enter the Siberian cave to find the compass, they also have to enter some symbols to essentially get the owl to open up and reveal the compass. The symbols are actually a direct reference to the Babylonians from Sonic Riders, which is just, wow, that was such a random reference. It's one of those things where it shows that the people making this film were just massive Sonic fans. I mean, you can see that throughout everything. Obviously, because the one thing I was going to be afraid of when they were making these films is a lot of the references would just be to the Genesis games, but it's really nice to see references to obviously like Mean Bean Machine and Sonic Riders, and hopefully we get to see loads more references as well. And lastly, it's something that I've touched on earlier, but we all know Sonic hates water. In the film we see two references to this, with Sonic essentially going fishing with Tom and then he falls in the water shouting that he can't swim and he's flailing about, which is it reminds me of when you're in Smash Bros and then Sonic is like flailing about if you enter water in Smash Bros with Sonic. And obviously when saving Knuckles from drowning, Sonic sucks in an air bubble just like he would in the games. Obviously though, it doesn't play the music, which is, as I said earlier, is just a missed reference. So now for my final verdict on the film. I think Sonic 2 is a much better film than the first. I thought the first film was just sort of passable, like it was okay. Like I think everyone expected it to be terrible, but it was really good. But I say, well, it was just good. It wasn't really good, but I thought this film was really good. It makes loads of cool references to the games and the cartoons and the rich lore of Sonic, which is baffling to me. I'm really surprised they did a lot of the stuff they did. The story, acting and animation were all excellent, with unfortunately some cringy jokes and a bit of too much time spent with the human characters in Hawaii, when they could have been spending that with Eggman, Knuckles, Sonic, Tails. But because of all this, I'd like to give the Sonic 2 an 8 out of 10, as overall I really enjoyed it and I can't wait to see what they do with the next film. Anyway everyone, what did you guys think of the sequel? Have you been to see it yet, and did you enjoy it? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic Easter and Easter Sunday. Personally, I've had an Easter egg today and I'm very happy. So anyway guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!